Have you seen where you can create pumpkins from bundt cake pans? These are so cool. Now you may have some of these at your house. If not, you can buy them pretty inexpensively at the thrift store. Just make sure the pans you get line up so that it's going to create a seamless look. So I'm going to start by taking 2 of my pans, hot gluing on one side and putting them together. Let this dry, and you could keep them the way they are, or you could spray paint them. I'm gonna be using a blue spray paint on one and a green spray paint on the other. Spray paint both sides, and then after they dry, you just want to add on a topper. I was looking around my craft room for things I could use, and I found these terracotta pots. I thought that would be so cute as a topper on these pans. So I added some leaves to the top, hot gluing those down, and then I hot glued on the terracotta pot. I repeated these steps with the other one. And here's how they turned out. Let me show you how to make this adorable wreath with a sweater that I got at the thrift store. So you're gonna need 2 things. You're going to need an old sweater or one that you thrift, and you're also going to need the pumpkin wreath form that they sell at Dollar Tree. Now I wasn't exactly sure how to put this sweater on, and I have to tell you, I didn't put it on as seamlessly as I would have hoped, but basically I cut it in half, and then I'm gonna be using the back of the sweater because that's kind of like the largest piece that I have. I started by placing it at the top, and I cut a hole so that my stem would fit through the top. Then I hot glued it to the top, and then I pulled it down to the bottom and hot glued it around the base. I didn't cut off any excess at this point. Then when I started to do the sides and hot gluing those, I realized that the top portion, I needed to pull off the hot glue because I was going to have to kind of fold the top over a little bit. So I hot glued the sides, and then I hot glued the top edge. I repeated that same step with the other side. So I hot glued it on the side and then kind of pinched it over on the top and hot glued that in place. Then I cut off any excess pieces that I had and added any additional hot glue to the back. I'm gonna be wrapping some burlap ribbon around the top of my stem. I'll just hot glue that on the back, wrap it around, and cut off any excess and hot glue that in place. Now you can use some Dollar Tree florals to kind of finish it off. I had this one fall stem that I'm gonna be pulling off the leaves, hot glue those down, and then I had some of the orange florals I added as well. And then I don't like to see any of the stems, so I found some orange Dollar Tree leaves and I hot glued those in place. And here's how it turned out. Did you guys know that Dollar Tree has this pumpkin pillow out? I think it's absolutely adorable. It would be perfect to sit out on your couch for the fall. For our next DIY, you're going to need a Dollar Tree foam pumpkin. I'm going to paint it because I'm gonna be wrapping it with burlap and I want it to be more of a neutral color. So I used a cream color paint and just painted the entire pumpkin. This doesn't have to look perfect because again, it's going to have ribbon over the top. Once my paint's dry, I'm going to take off the stem and I'm gonna use my scissors to kind of make a hole in the center because I wanna place my ribbon in the center. So I'll start with my burlap ribbon. This is one that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and I'll press it into the center, wrap it around the backside, cut off the excess, and then place it into my pumpkin. I'll keep doing this all the way around my pumpkin. So I'll put the ribbon in the center, wrap it around to the other side, and place it into the center of the pumpkin. You wanna make sure that you're overlapping your burlap so that you cover every piece of your pumpkin completely. So do this until you've completely wrapped your pumpkin. So for the stem, I wanted to add on some leaves. I used these fall florals from Dollar Tree. I also had these cute little dried pieces that I'm going to add on. And then for my stem, I had these leftover cork pieces that I had from a previous fall DIY, and I'm gonna hot glue those in place. And here's how the pumpkin turned out. We were really excited to find these stacked pumpkins this year. Now they had them towards the end of the season last year in the larger version, but we also found these smaller stacked pumpkins. So hopefully you can find them at your store. So I wanted to do a fun paint technique with these pumpkins. So I started by putting them all together. I ended up taking the larger one apart, but I have some ready-made cement that I'm gonna be using for this project. And I'm just going to start by putting this on all of my pumpkin pieces. Either they're put together or they're separate, but I like to just add this on with a glove. I feel like it goes on easier. Do not worry about covering your pumpkin completely because you will be painting this. So just cover all the pumpkins, and the more texture you add, the better it's going to look. Let this dry overnight. The next day you can decide what color you want to paint these. You can either go neutrals. I decided to go with a black color. I mixed the black paint with a little bit of baking soda just to give it a little bit more of a grit texture, and I find that my paint lasts a little bit longer. But you want to completely cover all of your pieces with the black paint. Once that dries, I wanted to add a little bit more dimension here. So I decided to water down some cream paint and add that, but I have to tell you, it really wasn't giving me that desired look I was going for. So I decided to get a little bit of that cement back out, mix that with water, and add that to the front. But that gave me a little bit more dimension than the paint did. And here's how they look styled together. Hey guys, I'm Liz and you're watching my second DIY channel where I post daily DIY videos. You may be familiar with my main channel, Liz Fenwick DIY, but I'm glad that you found me over here on my second channel. Make sure that you're subscribed so you just get notified every day when I post our daily DIY video.